Hello, everybody. I just wanted to preface this episode. This is the morning after we filmed today's episode, but just wanted to preface it. We were talking about who should win Finals MVP through two games so far, and we made the joke that Luka should win it, even though his team is down 0-2. And I said Jerry West. I mentioned his name because he's the only player to ever win Finals MVP while losing the finals. And yeah, this morning we heard the news that Jerry West had passed away. So just wanted to again preface it and say that rest in peace to a legend of the game. You know, it wouldn't be the same without him. He was a big step for the basketball world, and you know he's the logo. So much respect to him and his game, and hope his family well wishes and condolences. But yeah, rest in peace to the logo, and let's get on with episode number 3 of the Make a Swish Foundation.
Welcome back to the Make a Swish Foundation. We are back with Harrison James to my right, Stephen Morkel on the Zoom. We are here.
Hello.
We are here waiting for another day till tomorrow night for Game 3 of these NBA Finals. We've gotten two solid games, more solid for others than some others, but
Well said.
they have been still very exciting, and we're going to do our second half of our player protection. We're going to do the Western Conference as soon as we talk about these finals. Gentlemen, some takeaways. I know Harrison has more positive takeaways than you, Stephen. Harrison, if you'd like to start us off.
Yeah, I guess I could start by saying I was pretty happy with those first two games.
Yeah.
Just looking at some of the stats, we have 5 players that have averaged over 16 points across those first two games. And I also came across this 4 factors thing on Basketball Reference, which Jack, you know something about.
Yes, the 4 factors model. It is the so-called 4 factors that strongly correlate with winning. It is effective field goal percentage, rebound percentage, turnover percentage, and free throw rate based on field goal attempts.
And Boston won all 4 of those through the first 2 games, which was it just kind of confirms what we saw, that Boston just kind of killed them. And
the 14-point gap on the offensive rating. Boston with a 115, Dallas with a 101. I think that really tells the story. Less so about the Dallas offense and much more about the Dallas defense and the Boston offense. The Mavs can't stop they can't stop a thing right now. It's just straight Swiss cheese.
There does seem to be quite a few holes at times, especially you see the compilations of Luka just sort of getting cooked one-on-one, and I mean it makes sense because it's guys like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis that are getting by him one-on-one.
It's kind of like what I was saying in that first part. You really can't hide guys against an offense like this, because him and Kyrie, even though Kyrie was playing a great defense before, earlier in the playoffs, they're just mismatches on everyone. And you can't have that low guy protecting the rim when they're guarding Kristaps Porzingis outside, and then Drew Holiday is just cutting in like a wizard. He just finds himself at the basket wide open.
Kyrie Irving is your shot blocker. It's just all out of sorts. And
Luka for his part is he's the only one, like, he's playing incredibly on offense, like maintaining his numbers, double-double, good, really great efficiency aside from the free throws, under 50%. That's pretty crazy. But that's the Lucas standard. If you give up the free throw percentage for the 3-point percentage, I don't know why. That's just his thing. But he has to carry such a load on offense because no one else is getting it done. The centers look like they're just completely out of the game. They've been taken completely out of the offense. Dribble handoffs just aren't even there. Mavs went for so many lobs, which just opened up the game so much for Kyrie and Luka in the first two in the last two series. Just non-existent here. I think, obviously the massive size that Celtics have is the biggest deterrent, but also having 7'3" Kristaps Porzingis, who's moving like he hasn't moved like this since like 2018, when he was an all-star. I don't remember seeing him move this well in a long time. And
I remember seeing a lot of clips on Twitter of Mavs Porzingis, and it's just like, what is this guy
night and
doing?
day.
And now
it's not even close. He's not even close to the same player he was.
I will also say one of the biggest takeaways I have just from watching those first two games by the Mavs is Tim Hardaway really has to take advantage of those 8 minutes he's getting. He's got to play it so much better.
Yeah, man.
Really disappointed in him.
He's averaging, let's see. How many shots has he taken? Oh, 2. That's funny. 2 shots. Man, really need that guy to step up.
Truly the X factor of the series.
Maybe we can get the other max player on this team to shoot over 35% from the field. Maybe
make a 3.
Make any. Yeah. That's also been the obvious difference is the Celtics aren't, with the lobs, obviously is one of the Mavs shots that they liked, one of the looks that they liked in the last 2 series. They're not giving them the corner threes or the kind of spots that they want for PJ and Derrick Jones Jr. That's where they were making their money the last 2 series was from the corner. Mm-hmm. And it's just not, they're not getting given anything. No good shots. Well, like good shots sometimes, but just not, I guess not their shots.
Yeah.
Maybe not
good
where
shots,
they're comfortable.
But not the right personnel.
No. Which honestly credit to Joe Mazzulla, the Boston Celtics staff, and obviously the players who are executing the game plan. But no one aside from Luka looks comfortable on the court. It's not even really close. They all look bothered. Even Kyrie, who usually looks as under control as any player in the NBA, just is beside himself. The silky, midway midi jumpers he usually takes and just nails all the time. I mean, they look worse than they maybe ever have. At least this year, Kyrie's getting ridden a lot for how bad he's playing this series, but I mean, for as close as game 2 was, and as well as Luka played, and Kyrie to just really, he should be the next man up, and it just wasn't there, man. It's really disappointing for me, obviously, as a fan of the team, but I don't know. It's tough. Just want more.
I have seen online that us Thunder fans are just rolling in their graves because it's basically the same game plan. Just Joe Mazzulla said, we're going to do it a little better because we have just all NBA defenders at every position. And also they haven't given up those corner threes as much. And with PJ forgetting how to shoot when he's above the break. And Derrick Jones is just a completely different player than he was in that OKC series. But
it's tough to watch. Yeah, it really feels like when it's Luka and Kyrie out there, it's usually 3 non-shooters out, and like one guy is left wide open, and the Celtics just don't care at all. They are begging for y'all to shoot that, and it's it just makes it hard to take advantage of. And yeah, that leads to Luka having 8 turnovers and stuff like that. It's just hard to contend with. And yeah, another big storyline from that game too was that it felt like you got the Celtics game that Celtics fans were dreading, where they shot less than 30% from three. They were choking at the late game, clutch time stage of the game, and there was a massive Luka game.
It was
And
exactly what I do in our preview for the finals. It was exactly what I said the Mavs needed to win games was Celtics not shooting, because they do that. They're a streaky team sometimes. And at no point, I mean, the Mavs obviously got what was it, within 3 in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. It was 5 points, and then it was a block on the fast break. But got it within 5 points late game. But I mean, other than that brief moment, I mean, the Celtics are in cruise control, really. After first quarter, I want to say, it just they've just done it better. I think, obviously Luka's probably been first, second best player in this series, but you go row for row down through the next 7 players, and you can very confidently say that all of the 7 of the next 8 best Celtics are better than the next 7 Mavs by a wide margin. That's how you lose 2 games, like the Mavs just did.
yeah, it's tough to see. It leaves little hope for a super competitive series, but maybe being back in Dallas, being back at home can stir something up. I also wanted to talk about a certain player on the Celtics in particular, because I was trying to go out of my way to pay attention to him and pay attention to his little things that he does. That player being Jason Tatum, and he has done a lot of those little things. He's played great defense, and a thing you mentioned the first episode, Stephen, was if him and JB can become shot creators, and clearly in game 2, 12 assists, he was doing that, and it was a lot of Drew making fantastic cuts and Derek White spreading out and making it easier for him, but he's done that shot creator role you're talking about, and again played that great defense. But as we in Twitter know, he has not shot well at all. I'm curious how each of you are viewing his, because it's very polarizing. Some people are still saying he's playing well, and others are like, this is the worst superstar of all time. It's tough to say. I'm curious what y'all think.
Harrison, I'll let you start this one off.
I mean, he obviously has not shot well, but I don't think he's played bad basketball. Like, I think he's overall had very good games and contributed a lot to us winning. And I feel like you can't really praise Drew and Derek for their games without mentioning that Tatum got them almost all of those looks by collapsing the defense and making the right read. So we still wouldn't be here without Tatum playing the games that he's playing. He obviously wants more of those shots to go in. I know he had at least like 4 or 5 layups that just fell off the rim. And just stuff like that would go a long way to making it look like he had a much better game. I mean, if he's shooting even 35% and has like 24 points, everybody's like, oh, this is a great Tatum game.
Yeah.
And he's obviously still bringing it defensively. When he's switching on to Luka, he's doing all that he can. He's not going to get a stop every time, but he's a good body to throw at him.
He's played the most minutes in the series. I mean, that's also hard not to talk about, is that he's been, not only has he been contributing in a lot of different ways, maybe not scoring as well as you'd want from your number one option, the guy who's taking the most shots on the team, but he's on the floor the entire time. And Jason Tatum is valuable because he does so much. Like you just said, he's been doing everything else. And if he's there on the court all the time, he's a lot more valuable than just looking at a field goal percentage, I believe. And we talked about this a little bit over text, but if you're the Celtics and you're looking at how well you've played the last two games, which is obviously very, very high level, even with how poorly they were making shots this last game, you're getting all of this contribution without having Jason Tatum even playing like just a subpar game in terms of shooting. Like he's this might be some of like the worst shooting he's had this season over a 2-game stretch. I wouldn't put it past him. But you're getting all of this with him shooting 32% from the field. I mean, if he goes out and shoots 50% the next game, I mean, it's curtains. You know, that is you've already gotten the Kristaps game. You've gotten the Drew Holiday game where they've just kind of been the X factors. Jaylen Brown being number 2 in probably both those games. He's been really damn good. But all of this with Jason Tatum having, you know, not a superstar level game, man, like what is next if this could just turn up to be the next 2 games are just Jason Tatum by himself, you know. He has that in him. But
yeah, I also think a lot of and you just talked about it, but a lot of the Celtics still playing so well while shooting poorly is just a real tribute to Mazzulla. He's taken a lot of knocks over the last 2 years, and he obviously had a lot of adjustment to do coming into a tough situation, coaching a good team with super high expectations, but being a first-time coach. But he's stuck to his game plan and his idea of like what is winning basketball for the past 2 years. And this team has gotten to the point where they know how to win when they have those bad shooting games. And all the shots are good. I don't think Joe is mad with a single 3-point shot we took the other night. Because they're going to fall eventually. Sometimes you just have games like that. But we know how to roll with those punches now, and we can keep that defensive intensity up, keep cutting, stop trying to, like, you don't see the guys starting to do hero ball because those shots aren't going in. They're like, let me take my shots. They're still finding the right shots. And
they're keeping a good process the whole time. They're not letting a 5-minute stretch, you know, change the game plan, which I think speaks to the amount of experience this roster has, which is obviously massive. I mean, most of these guys are, you know, maybe old's not the right word, you know, but definitely all vets that are playing, except for me. You know, all of these guys have extended experience, and they're riding thick and thin. I mean, obviously it's been going well last 2 series for them, but I mean, unshakable is what this looks like, where run by the Mavs after a quick timeout, it's like, all right, let's shut it down. You know, another run by the Mavs, shut it down. You know, it's these guys are locked in, even if the shots aren't falling.
Now, Harrison, you can't really answer this question, but Steven, do you have any possible adjustments, or other than Kyrie shoot better, maybe other guys shoot better? I'm honest, it just seems figured out with the way, again, these 3 non-shooters on the floor. So Luka and Kyrie feel doubled at all times. Do you have any, do you have a
I mean, obviously, you know, the number one thing is getting more out of everyone that's not named Luka. Other than him, no one is shooting well from 3 who's shooting on any decent volume. No one's shooting. It's just shooting's not there, and guys aren't getting involved consistently. Gafford and Lively, who were so valuable, you know, I said this earlier, but they've been so valuable the last 2 series, and they feel completely shut out of the game plan just because Luka plays the game at his own pace, and the defenders have to adjust to that. But even he doesn't get into his rhythm with how the other players are moving on the floor. I don't know how they can adjust to that. Specifically, that the Celtics haven't been giving the movement that the Mavs want. They've been switching really well. They've been fighting over the screens really well, defending the pick and roll, where the Mavs are never in rhythm. I think the Celtics are just too big and too long to let this team do what they want. And, especially, on the Mavs on the defensive end, it's Harrison said it earlier, can't hide Luka and Kyrie for 48 minutes when every guy that's on the floor can shoot and every guy on the floor can drive to the basket and every guy can screen. The Celtics can run any set that they want, and the Mavs aren't prepared to stop it. I think from a personnel standpoint, but maybe also just from a preparedness standpoint, because this is just, they haven't faced a team that is as skilled as this. The Thunder obviously were a very deep, very skilled team, but it's miles of difference in terms of versatility. The Mavs can obviously do something. They came close this last game. Guys, it literally just takes 2 or 3 guys to get hot. Maybe even, just 2 guys, Kyrie, PJ Washington, both get hot. Maybe it's a series after that, but.
I will say one thing that does kind of scare me is the health of Kristaps, because after he re-aggravated, I think he said it was a separate injury from that calf. But he didn't look like he was moving the same as he was. Hopefully he'll be back to normal. But if he's not moving like he has been, he's played some of the best defense of his career. Like we just talked about with his movement.
Bar none.
And because he's playing such little games, such little minutes, he's able to bring that high intensity the whole time that he's on the floor. And I think if he is not 100% and not moving like that, those Kristaps minutes might be some minutes where you can get to the rim, get by some people. I know there was one play late in the game the other night where earlier in the game he would have probably, I think it was a Kyrie layup or something like that.
Yeah.
And he definitely would have gotten a better contest on that. And he looked like he was in quicksand. So that is something to look at.
Those were some hilarious memes to see that he came out with the quote after the game, like, "I'll die out there on that floor." And then all the Mavs fans are like, "Bro, what? Where were you?"
As a Mav. Ooh, owie, I'm hurt.
Yeah.
Man, we're playing the Clippers. Oh,
I'm done.
I'm out.
I can't win with them.
No, credit to Kristaps. No ill will here. Just, it didn't work out in Dallas. I'm happy he's doing so well in Boston. I just wish it wasn't this series. But what are you gonna do?
I did have one last shout out. And we talked about how Tatum has been moving the ball really well and making good decisions. Jaylen Brown had a really quiet 7 assists. I didn't even realize that during the course of the game. I think I saw it on Twitter sometimes these last couple of days, but shout out JB. I don't think 7 assists was anywhere near his wheelhouse in the finals 2 years ago. And it was still a pretty high turnover game for him. He had 6. But I'd have to look at the play-by-play, see if those were all truly on him. But 7 assists, regardless, is really good for JB.
Yeah, it is kind of unfortunate with how the conversation's gone so far, where we haven't really talked about Jaylen Brown, who's been the Celtics' best player. I think that's not really up for discussion. He's been absolutely unreal on both sides. His defensive highlights this series are unreal.
That top-down view of him locking down Kyrie on the right side,
it was nuts, man.
That if he's locking up like that, he said after, I think going into the year, one of his goals was to get an all-defensive team, and I don't think anybody in the voting was like, "Oh, Jaylen Brown, we really missed him on that. He should have gotten it, but he's proven it that maybe
He wants it.
maybe
He
he'd like
wants it.
Yeah, that sort of leads me into my final question. Who's y'all's finals MVP through 2 games? I think the odds-on favorite is still Mr. Jason Tatum, which is a bit shocking, but who in y'all's opinions? I mean, you said Jaylen Brown's been the best player. That's sort of hard to argue.
Yeah, I think it's I think obviously Jaylen Brown. We just waxed a little poetic on him. I've seen some people, say Luka should get Finals MVP.
Yeah, Jerry
I
West.
understand the sentiment, but I think giving Finals MVP to the guy that's losing, that lost 2 games so far, and if the Mavs get swept and Luka got Finals MVP, that'd be really dumb. At least in my opinion.
I mean, I think that
but-
the first game alone, just 1 assist or 1 or 2 assists might discount him from that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's tough, but I think so far it has to be Jaylen Brown. I mean, I don't see any way around it. He's done everything. At least in my opinion.
I know Drew Holiday has gotten a little bit of buzz for that as well.
Mhm.
Because he's one of those quieter guys that you sometimes don't notice, but then you'll look
He
at
had
a
an
box
electric
score.
he had an electric game too. He was amazing.
I think it should be a 3-way tie between Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, and Joe Mazzulla.
Dude, Brad
There
Stevens.
you go. No, dude, Brad Stevens needs
my-
needs his own commissioner's trophy after this. I don't know, man. This is absolutely disgusting work.
He must have.
Disgusting work.
Oh, was it Sam? Did Presti win it this year?
It was Presti, I think.
It's incredible.
No, he got it this year.
Okay,
Brad got it this year.
Okay.
good. Very good.
Either would have been deserving.
Presti's going to get it sometime soon.
He's fine.
Hasn't
Everyone
won it.
knows he's awesome. Who cares?
Presti hasn't won it yet?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think so. It's definitely in the wings.
Coming soon to a theater near you. All right. Well, yeah, we're excited for game 3. We're hoping it can be
No.
better.
Yeah. I just hope the Mavs get into some of their sets, like what their good looks. If they can start doing that, and if they're getting the looks that they really want, the looks that we saw in the last 3 series for the Mavs, even if they're not falling, even if they can't win after that, I'm all right with that, because obviously the Celtics have been the better team. They won the first 2 games, obviously. But if they just go crazy and beat the Mavs after the Mavs are getting all their looks, then so be it. But the Mavs haven't shown good process so far. It's been pretty bad process so far. It's really just been Luka and everyone else trying to fit in. But if it's good process, then something might come of it. But if they keep playing like they're playing now, the series is over before it started.
We'll see what J Kid got.
Yeah, what kids got cooking, baby?
Yeah, Mavs in 6, pretty much.
Mavs in 6 easy.